My name is Ari. I am currently 25 years old, and when I was 19, I was diagnosed with triple-negative breast cancer. When I received that diagnosis, of course, it was all strange to me at that age, and I didn't understand why it was happening to me. But with the diagnosis, I went through 16 rounds of chemo, I got a double mastectomy, and at the end of the year, I did reconstruction. That was at the end of 2019. And at the beginning of 2020, just 6 months after I completed everything, I got my second diagnosis at the age of 21. Went in for 6 more rounds of chemo, and this time I had gotten radiation. The first time I didn't get radiation because I had got genetic testing and I found out that I had BRCA1 and I also had the gene mutation of TP53. So just background behind the TP53. You know, when your doctor says everybody has cancer fighting cells in their body, they said that my body does not produce that. So the combination of the two gene mutations was the reason why I got diagnosed so young. My stepmom showed me Dr. Joe's work and I started watching stories of transformation and I was like, wow, this is crazy. And I started diving in deep. I was like, okay, writing that affirmations, making my intention sheet, just living more positive, not speaking any negative words around my life and my health and things like that. And I was able to get through treatment and I was healthy for about 3 years. And so leading up to that, every year I had to get full body scans because of the TP53 gene mutation. They told me that I could get any type of cancer in the book from like head to toe. And when I went in this year, 2024, to get my full body scan, they saw that I had a mass on my right ovary. So when I went in for the surgery, everything had tripled in size at that point. So the right ovary, the cancer was growing outside of it. It wrapped all around my appendix. I had to get the right ovary removed and my appendix removed. And they wanted me to essentially get a full hysterectomy, but I told them no. I know that I was destined to be a mother in this world. My doctor was really upset when she walked out of surgery. She felt like she didn't do her job because my left ovary still had so much disease in it. I knew at that moment when I lost my right ovary that I had to start taking it serious and buckling it down because I wasn't about to let no doctor determine the rest of my future. I saw that Dr. Joe was going to have an event in Dallas and I live in Austin, and I had been contemplating it and I saw that the event wasn't sold out and I was like, man, how am I going to pay for this? And then I had got a phone call that I had won a national award. The amount of money was the exact amount I needed to buy a Joe Dispenza ticket. On Wednesday, we started doing a meditation and I had told my stepmom that I didn't like when Joe was telling me to become nobody and no one because it felt like a negative affirmation to me. And she was like, okay, well, let's break that down. Why do you feel like it's a negative affirmation? And I had like this epiphany moment that I didn't like saying that I wasn't nobody because I always felt since I was a child that I really wasn't special and that I wasn't nobody and nobody loved me and nobody cared. I was letting my cancer make me special. I'm a radiation therapist, so I treat cancer patients for a living. That was already my major before I was diagnosed. And I started work after my second diagnosis. I started working with the breast cancer organization. So I was traveling around the world telling people about my testimony about being a young survivor. And it was those things that made me feel special. And I was like, wow, I'm letting my trauma and my pain and my lack of love making me this unique person in the world. And so after that meditation, I had just went up to my hotel room and I cried my eyes out. And I realized that I'm not special because I had cancer. I was special because I have a big heart. And I was like, I'm done working in oncology too. Like, how can I be healthy and I live, eat, breathe, say cancer 50 times a day? And I was just like, man, this isn't serving me anymore. When we went through the first coherence healing and, they tell you to set your intentions and imagine it, I was imagining my ovary and there was nothing in there. So they scheduled me for a follow-up appointment It was my nurse practitioner that was on the call, and me and my mom. And she was like, yeah, did you see your results? I put them in your portal. And I was like, I want you to tell me. And she was like, yeah, there's no signs of metastasis. And then my mom was like, okay, well, no metastasis, but what about her left ovary? Like, you know, because I was told there was so much disease left in there. And she was like, there's nothing in the left ovary. And we were just crying on the phone, and it was just so crazy. I've watched hundreds of transformation stories, and I just was like, it's finally me. Like, I did it. Now I know that I'm gonna carry my 5 children. I'm gonna give birth to all of them, and I just know that I'm happy and I'm healed.